Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Dreadpathzone. As you can see, I'm with a big deal. See that? See that guy right there? He's a big deal.
Extra large and in charge. What's up?
So for those of you who don't know, this is Jesse Cornwell of Kings of War fame, but he is also a huge proponent of Deadzone and is preaching the good word and getting some of these fantasy players to play a little sci-fi.
I am. I tried to do it before Kings of War tournaments. Jeff Swan, got to give a shout out to him. He's been really awesome with it. We've been playing. I am currently trying to get a 200 points list for each faction. So that way, you're at a Kings of War tournament. And you're like, oh, I want to try this game out. I'll be like, yo, what do you like? Do you like space elves? Do you like groovy, nasty, gnarly plague type fellers? Are you down with dwarves? And because it's an awesome game. And if you're watching this, you already know that. Use your friends to come watch it so they know about it too.
See, he's a consummate professional. That's why he's on here on the cast. So today we have the privilege, nay, the pleasure of telling you guys about the Deadzone Escalation book. So this is the new book coming out in 2019 June, right? I think it's June 3rd is the official date. But it is
Hey,
basically the yearly update that we are now fortunate enough to get because Deadzone's awesome. And this is quite the book. It has got a whole bunch of stuff in it. Anything from like missions and interactive terrain to all the faction lists getting a little bit of love here and there, as we're going to go through a little bit to whet
my
your
favorite,
palates.
my favorite thing they have is the double map mission. So again, back to like we do before fantasy, we usually because you got like 5 people or 6 people, instead of trying to run three games, we were just kind of just bleh, pile in. And it's awesome now they have a double map mission. So yeah, so now we can do bigger games with more people and really show off the dead zone.
Yeah, man. So that's probably another thing I'm most excited about with this book too is the larger game missions, just because more Dead Zone is awesome, and that I already have too much terrain. So if I can put it all onto two mats instead of just one, I mean that's a win-win. I see it as a
And,
good thing.
and
Um,
like all miniature games, you can't just buy one box. No, no. I have way too much GCPS and enforcers, so if I get to run like 1,000 point game on 2 maps, oh baby.
oh man, you're talking big leagues.
Enforcers, that's like 6 models. That's all peacekeepers,
I
like
guess it
8 models
depends.
top.
I guess it depends on which ones you bring, but yeah. So today we are going to be talking about three of the factions. Mantic had all of us kind of do a little section of the book to kind of tease it out in different platforms and areas. So you like the Dead Zone podcast guys, Frantic Gamers, Weight of Fire, Family of
Wait a
Gamers.
fire!
Yeah, sorry, Weight of Fire. And
Oh,
Family of Gamers 777. It's kind of a team effort to tackle this book because there's so much content in it, and another reason you should get it. But today we are going to be talking about the Mazon Labs, the Nameless, and the Plague. Kind of what
oh,
changed from last edition. Well, not last edition, but last book, which is Outbreak. Pretty minor changes for the guys we're covering, but they got some new goodies as well. So, I don't know. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. What do you say, Jesse?
yeah. Well, I guess first up is Mazon Labs. If you've played Star Saga, then you know about these guys. These are the bad guys of the bad guys, we should say. They're kind of like GCPS and Plague smashed together. So there's some Plague parts, there's some GCPS parts, but they've got enough flavor of their own that they're their own separate faction.
Yeah, absolutely. They're actually one of my favorite factions to play because they're kind of like yin and yang. You need to balance how much Plague is in there and how much GCPS is in there. I dig it. I love this faction. So starting off, we'll just kind of run through what's what's up with them. So we got Dr. Lucas Coiner. He's the exact same as he was in Outbreak, except things got a little bit better for him because the medic ability got better. So remember how he was the best
Oh,
leader in Outbreak? Well, he's now even the more best leader in Escalation. He's even more
I
gooder.
believe you mean, yeah, there we go, more gooder.
He's even more gooder. So
Right,
yeah,
and he does,
basically, medic
and being a medic,
medic
being a
saw an
medic means
improvement here.
useless.
Basically, medic went from being really mediocre to not even very good to a couple people who may or may not be on this cast right now, suggesting that it gets better. And so now medic is you can heal anyone in the cube back up to full ability but also all the people in the cube will get Resilient 1. So he's a team player. Dr. Lucas Coiner, he's your boy. Other than that, he's still the same old crazy, not quite Doc Ock.
Oh, and don't forget, the medic can now, a cube away, can heal somebody 1 wound. So if he's in the cube, he can heal somebody fully as a special action. Or if they're 1 cube away, he can heal them just 1 wound. I guess he, I don't know, throws them a trank or something, whatever. But yeah, being a medic is freaking awesome.
And he's already super awesome. So he got even more gooder, which I love.
More gooder, yes.
Okay, moving on. Do you want to take Graves?
I can. Graves.
No difference.
I don't think there's anything different. It's if you loved him before, you'll love him still. If you hated him before, you'll still hate him. So there you go.
And honestly, that's true for all the troops as well. The lab technician, the security guard, and the best one, the Blackwing Marines. They're all the exact same. No differences. Something that has come up that I've noticed in the specialist section for the aberration is that for some reason in the Mazon, it just must have been missed in the printing or whatever, but the Mazon aberration doesn't have beast according to the paper, but I assure you he's still quite beastly. He still has beast. So don't start thinking you can cheese him out with some sort of combat blades or something. So
well, there goes my entire list. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Not a big deal.
Take all these away. It's fine.
Just trash it. Just trash it. It's not even worth it. But yeah, so those guys are all the same. But this guy looks brand new. I don't even know what he is. He's a Crastivore. This is a Dreadball model. I think he was in Dreadball Extreme. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he was. And he's this big, ugly, nasty, giant spider, and he's gonna be in the Mazon Labs.
And that is something that they've listened to people, because Dreadball's in the same universe. It's the same thing. It's Dreadball's their fun part. Deadzone is where everything's going crazy. It's like the military, and Dreadball's supposed to be their fun. So they're bringing Dreadball models and giving them roles in Deadzone. And you'll see in the other list, I know Family of Gamers has it, and they talk about the Medibot, who was an assistant coach in Dreadball. He's used in a couple of the corporation factions like GCPS, and Mazon Labs gets to Crastivore, which is and he also, the Crastivore. You care if I go ahead and read the stats?
No, yeah, run it. Let's see it.
So he's 26 points. He's 3 VP. He's speed 2-3. That's a big deal. 1 armor. He's and 3 wounds. So he's size 3. He has the Proboscis, which is fight AP1. So he's not shooting anybody. He's walking in. He's going to stab you to death. He has Toxic. Toxic has changed. Toxic used to be, if I did damage, you die. Now he's Toxic 1.
Which was a little too much.
Right. When I'm playing my GCPS or Veerman, I don't care. Toxic's adorable. I'm going to die anyway. Suck it. But what Toxic 1 is, so he runs up on an aberration, stabs it, does a wound. He'll do 1 extra wound. If somebody, I know there's a model that has like Toxic 3, so it does a wound, and you take 3 more wounds. So Toxic has changed, not auto dead, but for most things in the game, because unless they're gigantic, it'll probably kill them outright, like your GCPS troopers or your enforcers. Anything bigger than that, they're going to take at least 2 wounds, because Toxic 1. So he's a nice little run up and stab guy. 3 size, 1 armor. He's not easy to kill.
Yeah, he's also agile, because he's a giant spider. So spiders like to jump around things. Agile doesn't come up a lot, honestly. It doesn't happen a lot, at least for me. I've never really feel like, oh, this character is agile, I'll have to take him now. But it's a nice little perk. Sometimes you can catch people a little bit off guard with hopping up a cube or whatever. But with move 2-3, it's not a big deal. And you get all this wonderfulness for 26 points and 3 victory points. So pretty reasonable. I think he's a legit punching threat. That's interesting, because basically before, at least in Outbreak, the Mazon Labs was really just aberrations can punch, and the plague victims can kind of punch. They're more of a harassment unit. But this guy's he's got some actual threat to him, especially if you're going against things that are like size 2. That's where he really shines, because that Toxic will just eat him for breakfast.
Right. Do a wound, do another wound, and now suddenly they're 1 wound away from dying.
Yeah, that's
start
awesome.
Popping 8 on somebody. Good night.
So I might have to look into picking up one of these guys, because I can dig it. I was a little skeptical at first, like I don't think he has a place in the list. But then the more I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, he's pretty good.
Well, if you don't want to gamble with Rampage on the Aberration, which I mean, sometimes it's great because again, I play Veerman, and the nightmares are fun to run, but sometimes Rampage is amazing, and I'm like, ooh, I'm moving 4 cubes, and
Oh,
sometimes
night
it's
night
like,
terrors, night
or Night
terrors.
Terror. They know their place. They're whatever I call them. But yes, the Night Terrors. When the Night Terror jumps up, and sometimes he'll go 4 cubes. Sometimes I'll be like, where would you like my model to attack me at?
And the other thing is he's a good punching unit, but he's only 26 points as opposed to like the aberration 40. So you're getting a bit of a discount there, but still size 3 models are hard to deal with pretty much anyone across any of the factions, honestly.
Yeah.
So moving on, we got the ODSU, the big Chovar organic data storage unit guy. No change on him. He's still super legit, and I still love the model.
He
So,
went up. He went up 2 points. He's now
oh,
26 points. And an outbreak he was 24, and he went up 1 victory point. So an outbreak he was 2. Now in escalation he'll be 3.
well, sorry, I didn't do my homework, but somebody did. That's why I got a
I
teacher.
did my homework.
That's why I got a
Yeah.
teacher on the call because he did his homework. Yeah. So okay, a little bit more expensive, but he's super good, so I think it's warranted. I mean,
He didn't get no more gooder, but he's still good.
nice. Okay. Well, hopefully I don't misspeak here, but the plague victims are the same, and they're still
Yes,
very
you
good.
you are correct on that.
Okay. Yeah, they're still
Gold
awesome.
star for
They're
you,
still
sir.
still one of the best harassment units in the game. They're just something you have to deal with that has potential to do damage, but really they're not there to kill everything on the board or anything. They're just there to annoy you while the other guys shoot and while other things move up.
And you feel dirty when you have to waste an action to kill it.
Yes, very much so. So moving on, we got the Blackwing Ranger, or no, not Ranger, sorry, Engineer. I skipped right past him. The Engineer's got a little bit better, especially as the missions are introduced. There's a lot more interactive scenery and a lot more hacking things. So he gained the ability Hacker, and he's still an engineer. So he got a boost to any mission that has terminals and stuff. I'm sure that's covered in a different podcast or a different outlet, but basically it's a new way to play with a lot more interactive scenery, and he can interact with that scenery a lot better than say just your average rifle dude.
Right. And I know others have covered it, but let's be honest. If you're going to watch one, you're going to watch this cast because it's the best. With those scenery, anybody can tap to a terminal and score 1 VP for an intel. Hackers get 2 VP.
Yeah,
And
it's
I've
it,
had some games where that 1 VP is the difference.
well, and I think to interact with the terminal, I'm pretty sure that it's a long action for anybody who's not a hacker.
Mm-hmm.
So a hacker, it's a free action. They can just run up to the cube and but like any other guy has to put away their
That's how people hack. They just type really fast. They're like, enhance,
yeah,
enhance.
zoom in, enhance. So this is your zoom in enhance guy right here.
Exactly.
Let's see. Moving on. The Ranger stayed the same. He's still super legit. He's a little
Just
different from the GCPS Ranger because he has Scout. He doesn't have the aerial deployment, but I honestly like Scout a little bit more because I feel like I get too overzealous with the aerial drop thing, and then they get eaten up. But
Nope, drop them and go.
maybe that's just me. So he's still legit, and the Specialist is still the same, except he got Hacker. Actually, he's not the same. So Specialist also got Hacker, which makes them a little bit more versatile, even more so than they already were, which is good. Jesse, you want to cover the next guy, the Corporation Medibot?
So as I mentioned before, he's a Dreadball model that has come over to us from Dreadball. He's your standard. He's a big old feller. I don't have his stats in front of me because I'm lazy.
Oh, I got it.
Uh,
I got your
Go ahead.
stats. So I think Andy on Way to Fire also shouted this one out in the podcast, but basically, and I think Family Gamers in the Enforcer review. So this guy's all over the place now, but he's pretty legit. So he's 18 points and 1 victory point. And let's see, he moves 1 to 2. He's got 1 armor, which is huge because a lot of the stuff in this list does not have armor. Um, And well, he doesn't technically have armor, I should say, but he has a defender shield. So he has,
which is amazing.
yeah, he has armor, and everyone around him gets armor because defender shield's awesome. So yeah, he's pretty great. He is a construct, so he's not going to be pinned or suppressed or any of that stuff. And he is a medic with a 5-up save. He doesn't shoot or fight, but he has a 5-up save with the medic ability and defender. He is the definition of a team player who's just there to help out your dudes.
Pretty much every list I build is going to be 18 points down if they can take a Medibot, because he's given resilient in that cube and he's given defender shield, so he's given +1 armor to that cube. And yeah, every list I make is just 18 points down automatically.
Yeah, tank up, man. Tank it up, because defender shield's great and medic is great now. So I don't see why not to take him. He's awesome. I just got to get this model now.
Yeah.
It's almost like they planned it that way.
It's almost like they're a company that sells models. Genius.
Hmm.
If only I knew the U.S. sales rep for Mantic. Maybe he could help us out.
Oh yeah, maybe he could. Get it shipped to our local gaming stores.
Yeah, see?
Let's see. Moving onwards, we got the Urbana Blackwing Medic, who's kind of a discount Medibot because he doesn't have a defender shield. So he's just a bare bones medic. A little bit cheaper, 6 points cheaper, but for some reason he's 2 VPs and the Medibot's only 1. So he's just not as good as the Medibot.
Yeah, sorry, bud. Automation's what's killing job. So, yeah.
Yep.
Stupid robot. Take
Exactly.
the medic's job. Took her job.
He took her job. Yeah, seriously. I mean, maybe if you're really, really, really tight for points, I guess if he can shoot a pistol?
Now, I do know maybe it's a model thing, because GCP as Trooper's tiny. He can hide. The Medibot, I've seen the model, and while it's only size 1, an actual model is huge. I don't see you hiding him in a cube very well.
Okay. Yeah, there's a little pro-con for you, but it's mostly just pick the Medibot. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. Point out, Medibot.
And then, let's see. We got a new specialist, which I was not expecting to see in this list, but he got Subject 901, straight from the Plague. So he is a living legend. He is a punchy character, and he's legit. So he moves 1 to 2, which is kind of slow, but that's whatever. He does have armor 1, which is nice. He is size 2, which is nice. He fights on a 4 and saves on a 4. The save is huge because he can actually get to combat, doesn't get shot down before. He is Tactician 1, so if your main leader guy dies when you take Coiner, because you're going to take Coiner, if he dies, you still have a Tactician dice. He does have Rampage because he's a experiment gone wrong, basically. And he has Frenzy 2, so whatever he hits, he's going to hit with. And it's AP 2. No shooting, so he just runs up and punches things at AP 2. Fight 4, Frenzy 2. He's a beat stick, and he's 24 points, 3 victory points. And he does actually kind of fit the theme. He's got the whole lab stuff going on, and looks like he just kind of broke out. So he's on the list now, which is kind of cool.
It's like Mazon Labs, they experiment on stuff. I assume that would be where an experimental plague victim would be. It fits.
Yeah, it all checks out over here. And let's see. The last change that I see is on the Strider.
Strider.
The Strider. You want to go ahead and handle that change, Mr. Homework?
Strider's real simple. There's two really big things. First, do you love the Ajax? If you do, you can now take them on Mazon Labs. So the Strider has the grab spear now and can take the shield, and they get rockets, because you ever put one together, he's got the little rockets on his hand and stuff?
Yeah, or
now he can
the little one that has that on the shoulder pads,
And the last thing I might to add, because I do my homework and you don't, so do you have the book open, Mr. Schultz?
I do.
Look at the items. What's now common?
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not see that. Oh, I don't have the item part. Oh, let's see. Adrenaline shots and frag grenade. Oh, the scout bike.
Oh, baby. Mazon Labs got some scout bikes, and they're common. You want an entire force of scout bikes? You can do it.
You live your best life. You do it.
Yes. I'm not saying I may do it because GCPS now have access to scout bikes, but you may see an entire force of GCPS troopers on scout bikes.
That's legit. That's super legit. I did not
Yes.
notice that. Thank you for doing your homework,
Yeah.
and thank you for sparing all the people out there watching so they don't have to do their homework. It's a
Now
win-win.
they know why we're excited.
Yeah,
It's a win for everyone.
we just cheat off of your test, you know?
That's fine. And I saw
And
that and I was like, what?
one thing I forgot to mention, and this is a fairly important change, all the Striders across the board they went from save of 4 to 5. So now their armor has to actually do the work and not just your great dice rolling of 4-ups, which makes sense. I think that's fair. Basically, all Striders have armor 3, but most people wouldn't even have to use it because they just rolled really well on 4-ups. So, you know, there's a slight change, and I think that does it for the Mazon Labs. Jesse, you excited to play some Mazon Labs? I heard you talking about wanting to pick up Star Saga.
I am. I'm going to pick up Star Saga because Mantic still has the Kickstarter version on sale on its website, and mainly I want all the mercs and any excuse. Again, I'm trying to build a force for each faction. I can build Mazon Labs because I've got a bunch of UPS dudes sitting around, which is awesome.
Well, and
that is,
Star Saga's chock full of GCPS dudes, basically. I mean, full of Mazon Labs guys, so they're all the same models, which is awesome.
and that's something people kind of fail to notice, and I know a lot of people give game companies flack. But to me, that's kind of cool that Mantic's made a faction to where you can, if you've already have GCPS and you already have Plague, you can kind of just push them together, and you're like, ta-da! Now I have Mazon Labs.
Yeah.
Like really, the only one I feel you would need to buy, and honestly, if you showed up with a Doc Ock figure, I'd probably say is the Doctor. Somebody showed up with a Doc Ock fig or Hero Click, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. That's the Doctor. He's got the arm things. Let's roll.
Well, and then, just a quick plug for Star Saga. Star Saga is really fun. Like, just as a standalone game, it's great. But the fact that you can use every single miniature and import it into Deadzone, it's just awesome. Like, I love that. So, basically with buying Star Saga, you would have a full Mercs list for sure, because Mercs are able to take just generic troopers. So if you wanted to only do Mercs, you could do that, or you could do that and it's just really cool. I think it's great interpollination. Plus, with the whole Dreadball thing, you got a bunch of Dreadball fans out there who have Medibots who just sit on the bench, quite literally, and now they can get a little field action, which is pretty sweet.
This book is changed up a lot of cool stuff, and I'm super curious as like just the way list, but you get into I don't want to say you get into a rut, but you get people who they're starting out and they're like, oh, they see a list at work, so they run that list. Or you go to tournaments and you keep seeing, you're like, okay, oh, you're running that list, but you just ran this one different than that, whatever.
Right.
Like, the shake-up from this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then especially with the switch-ups with all the missions and stuff, and then, oh yeah, Star Saga has a bunch of terrain too, so, there's that as well. Okay, so yeah, that's Mazon Labs. I'm a fan. I think not a whole ton of changes, but some good ones that are going to add some different kind of lists, because now you can really build a truly punchy Mazon Labs that's more than just your little harasser guys. You got options, lots of options. You could even build Striders with spears and all scout bikes.
Yes.
Let's move on to the Nameless, everybody's favorite Griblies with the tentacles.
Right, these guys are actually pretty young, and they just came out in Outbreak.
Yep.
There's actually some pretty healthy shakeup for them in this book.
Yeah, and they get some love too. Which so let's start off with the leaders, as we so often do. We'll start with the Psychotroid. Psychotroid, I don't, Mr. Homework Guy, double check me here, but I don't think he changed at all.
Stunning went from range 5 to now range 4. That's the only thing changed on him.
That makes sense because all the other psychic ones are range 4. It's easier, it's cleaner. It's like Facebook. It used to be the Facebook. You drop the.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cleaner. But yeah, he's still a fantastic leader. I still need to get my hands on this model because I think it's kind of cool. He's got the whole main butt thing going on. It's just fun.
If you buy the starter set for Nameless, he comes with it.
Indeed. Indeed.
If only we knew. If only we knew a guy that worked in North America and sold could get hold of Mantic models for you through your local shop.
Hmm.
His name starts with a K. It escapes me. It's like something pretzel Twinkie. I don't know.
Pretzel Twinkie sounds right. I'm pretty sure it's K Pretzel Twinkie, something like that.
Something like that.
Okay, so let's go on to our next leader, a brand new model. This is the Ferromite Prime, another pseudo Dreadball import. So these guys were the Ferromites were in Dreadball. They're called the Hard Guards in Dreadball, but now he can be used in Deadzone, and this is the special Ferromite Prime version of the Ferromites. So brand new model here, super cool. He clocks in at 28 points, 3 victory points, and for that you're going to get a movement 1 to 2, so not the fastest dude, but reasonable. He has armor 1 because he's a big old crab person.
Crab people. Sorry.
The Ferromite Prime is size 2 with massive claws, which are range F AP 2. He is a fight out 4 and a survive of 5. He is a beast because he's got big old claws. He can't pick up adrenaline shots and stuff. Come on. He has tenacious, which means you're not getting away once he gets to you. And he is a tactician 1, but here's the big kicker for me. He has defender shield. And
Yeah.
anytime you get defender shield is a good day. And especially because he's size 2, he can share the love with 2 other friends or 1 other size 2 friend, which is pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
So he's 1 armor to start off with. Now he's 2 armor because stupid defender shield and 2 size. He's pretty much a mini ogre.
Yeah,
Like
he's tanky.
His splat. I was looking at it and gross. So the active model gains solid and tough, and the model may not have performed a move, sprint, or breakaway this turn. So you got a guy, say, I don't know, sitting on an objective, and you don't want to move him anyway. You're like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and activate him. I'm going to use this splat. He's got solid and tough, and he can just sit there and shoot all he wants.
Yep, throw your frag grenades. He's got solid. He's not moving anywhere. And then tough is insane. But the kicker there is that you basically have to become a statue. Like you got to sit in that cube. But in Deadzone, there's a lot of times where you want to go and just sit on a cube. So he's got a really great splat. Really great splat.
Yeah. His one thing I was looking is down. I don't want to say downfall. The bad thing is he has a recon of 7.
Yeah, he's not the recon.
He's not a strategist. If he can't even figure out how to work an adrenaline shot, he's probably not the guy that's planning ahead.
Yeah, his kind of list is just kind of move up. You can't kill it. Ha ha ha. We have defender shield, and that's
Yep.
kind of what he does.
And 28 points though, that's not bad for a leader with a great splat. I'll take a recon 7. I'll let you. You may go first. Oh boy.
Yeah, and he's actually the cheapest of the leaders in the Nameless list. So if you're looking for that cheap leader goodness, and he's not going anywhere, pretty good option. I think he's a good addition to the team.
He's probably the one I'm going to try to get when I build my Nameless list. He seems to me the most newbie friendly.
Yeah. He's got the least
you can
amount
be
of
out there. You can get stupid
tricks.
with him, and unless somebody snipes him or something, you can kind of sit out there and be dumb, and he'll still survive.
So let's talk about the Blight. So he's our next leader up on the screen. He is largely the same, except he went from 30 points in Outbreak to 32 in Escalation.
Proud of you. I had that in my homework pad, but
I'm not as bad as you think I am, or as I pretend like I once was one time.
I can't talk too much. I'm 0-2 against you in Deadzone.
Yeah, well, it's okay. You did better in the tournament than I did at Adepticon. You definitely made me proud.
I try. With GCPS, I heard they were bad.
So yeah, Blight, he's still legit. He's still punchy. He's still resilient and tough and armor 1 and all that good stuff. And he still makes your dude spit acid. So he's a quality leader. It's kind of fun to think about what you can do with that list. Just being able to tweak it and do weird stuff. And, have inkers and stuff that can spit AP or it burns. And, he's a fun one. I actually haven't got to try him yet. But I will at some point. I have the model. He's pretty legit. He's got a really cool tail, which is hard to tell from the pictures of him, but his tail is like all kinds of funky.
and that's what sells. That's what sells Tyler on his leaders.
Hey,
Their skills
I'm
rate.
just saying. It's either that or the weird, sacks on his cheek areas. Anyways, moving on. We got the Fear. He is my personal leader of choice because he gets to reroll everything. I love the Fear. The model's cool, and he gets, he's got Resilient, so he's rerolling Survives. He's got Weight of Fire, so he's
Light a
rerolling,
fire!
so he's rerolling his shooting, and he's got Frenzy, so he's rerolling his attacking. He is super great, and he actually went down in points. No, he didn't. He's the same.
Yeah, I didn't have that in my homework pad. Sorry.
No, you're right. He's the same. I thought that was a 36, but it's a 30. So he's the same. He's still great, and I still love him. Okay.
Uh, Troop section. We got a little shakeup there.
Yeah, a little switcheroo.
So we'll go through all the troops, but so the gunslinger is now a troop. He was a specialist, but now he's a troop, and he went from 15 points to 13 points, and from 2 victory points to 1. So now you do have a ranged dude in your troops, and so the Carotid got bumped up to a specialist. Carotid though went from 9 points to 15 points, and from 1 to 2 victory points. So you lost a punchy dude in troops, but gained a shooty dude.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because the gunslinger, like the model's so cool, but like you just couldn't justify spending a specialist slot on him. It's like I don't know. I could take him, or I could take the wealth of options that are better than he is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the fact that he's now priced a little bit more accordingly, he's more in line with the other factions in their kind of troop selection. He's kind of a mix between like a Brocker, but he's got armor. So and he's a team player, and something that you rarely saw was like a really heavy triclinic shard list with the Nameless because it was so hard and expensive to get to. But you can actually kind of have a lot of them now, and you can have a lot of people trying to help out your punchy dudes to make them better with the triclinic shard. So I'm excited to use the gunslinger because I have not yet, and it seems like something that I've always kind of wanted to do because he's got twin crystal pistols. What's more fun to say than twin crystal pistol?
Oh, that brings back flashbacks of double needlers in Halo.
Well, exactly. And what's better than that? Nothing. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of that change, that switcheroo. Plus, the Carotid model is really hard to get your hands on, and having him as a troop, it's like you wanted to make a whole list of Carotids, but just feasibly, you're not going to be able to. So this is a little better fit for him. Plus, he's super legit. So, and he got a lot better. So he was 9 points, but now he's 15. But for that extra bump in points, you're going to get AP1 and Frenzy 2. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
If he
it's
hits
legit.
something, he's gonna put a wound on it, at least.
Yeah. The question now is do you like the assassin or the carotid better in the specialist slot? Because they're kind of direct competitors.
Or the Fairmite.
Well, he's a little different.
Yeah, but that Fairmite. So we already talked about Fairmite Prime. The Fairmite's pretty much the same thing. He's 23 points with 2 victory points. He's just the not leader version. And yeah, they're pretty good too. Also,
Yeah.
they also have to compete with. Now you have the Ogre went from save 5 to 4. Apparently, he found the save that the Strider lost.
Yeah.
As if the big some bitches weren't already hard to kill.
No. Opposite. He went from 4, now he's 5 because he was too legit to quit.
Oh, I switched that because I'm dyslexic. Not really, I'm just fat, but sorry. I have to let Tyler get one right now and then,
Yes.
or else he won't let me back. He won't
We're
let me
even.
back on the cast.
Or even.
Yeah,
Tie ball game. Tie ball game.
yeah, eyeball game.
So yeah, the ogre's still legit, but he has a little bit of competition now with the Faramite as to who you're going to take, or do you take them both? The Faramite's still not as good as the ogre, but he's pointed far less. He's only 23 points, whereas your ogre's 35. So he's less of a commitment, especially in like the 150 point lists like we had at Adepticon. I would have totally taken Faramites over ogres just for the points that you can have instead.
Yeah, because I mean, name of the game. Sometimes you want more bodies,
Yeah, but
and
he's
it's
still, the Pheramite's super tanky, Ogre's super tanky. It's just kind of what you're after. They're both really good, and they both have Defender Shield, which
yeah.
I can't tell you how great Defender Shield is.
Well, as an enforcer player, I've known Defender Shield has been amazing for a long time.
Okay, let's move on to the next specialist, who is a Dreadball import. This is a giant in Dreadball called the Spawn. So the Spawn, he's not the fastest mover. He's got a 1 to 2. He is armor 1, but he's size 3, so he's living up to that giant name. He's a pretty basic unit, honestly. Fight 4, survive 5, and he's got Frenzy 1 with AP 1 on his punchiness, and Resilient 1 with Tenacious, because look at him. You're not getting away from that once he gets his little tentacles around you. 23 points and 3 victory points. He's good. I like him. I don't
Um,
I don't know if
another
I love him
specialist,
though.
another specialist we need to talk about, and with the Spawn, I don't know. He's cool, but I look at him, I'm like, I'm going to take a Pheramite. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's kind of
the,
that's
the
kind of my
needle drone,
conclusion too.
the happy little 10-point needle drone. He lost Beast and Stealthy, but he gained Hacker. That is
Ooh.
your Hacker for the Nameless.
Yeah, stealthy might have been a bit much on him because you got to shoot these little buggers. But yeah, that's interesting, especially with the addition to all those terrain things. To having some access to hacker that's not really expensive could be very worth your time, worth your while if you're playing a lot of those missions, or you don't know if you're going to play those missions.
Plus 10 points, 1 VP for the needle drone. You're not. I mean, that's not really a big commitment. So if
Yeah,
you bring him and they don't have a terminal, you're like, whatever. He can still go to an objective. He still do his little thing. You're not, 10 points out of 200. Yeah, whatever.
I still love that he can
It's something
blast
you can
people
do.
off of objectives. I think that's kind of one of the
Right.
things that he excels at because he can move up pretty far and then blast someone off the objective without even seeing them, through walls and stuff. So he's still legit, and the rifleman is still super legit. I don't see any changes with him.
In Project Oberon, he is the other named specialist, the living legend, so to speak.
Yeah, so this guy has been in a couple books now. I think he was in Outbreak as an elite list. Um,
Maybe.
I think
I'm
he's
gonna
like the
check.
very
Hang on.
last page in the book. I
No,
don't know.
that's where the Veermen go. God.
Anyways,
Ugh.
he's a pretty good unit. He's pretty expensive though. He's 28 points and 3 victory points, but for all that, you get a guy who can scout with toxic. He actually has a needler from Halo, which is Way of Fire and AP
Wait a
one.
fire!
And he does everything on 4 ups, which is nice. I think where he kind of shines is his range fight stuff. AP 1 with toxic 1, and he's got an energy shield. So he's not the most durable, but he's got a really good save. He's never been one of my favorites, but I like the model.
It's one of those deals. It's cool that he's in there and you can use him, and it is kind of cool to where we talk about elite list. It is cool you can use them on something besides just elite list or
Yeah,
with mercenaries. I'm glad they've gone through and tried to balance them so that way you possibly bring him into tournaments or just you don't, pardon my French, you don't feel like a douche when you bring him.
yeah.
You're like, I'm sorry, I just wanted to see what this model does. Looking at you, Blaine on jet bike.
Yeah, playing on Jetbike. And let's see, we got the Terror, who stayed the same as well. I don't see any changes with him.
Nope.
Still just a really expensive assassin. I don't know if he's worth it, and I don't love the model, so, But that's all been said before. Anywho, then we got our vehicles. Vehicles. Uh, so we got the
Really cool.
Goliath and the Baphomet, who are both super good. They still have options. The Baphomet has a picture now, which is nice. So yeah, we got the Baphomet. I actually just got this model at Adepticon, and I built him, and he's really handsome. And I should have an unboxing if I get off my lazy arse and post it. So yeah, super cool. I like the Baphomet. Pretty cool dude.
Does he come in the Star Saga expansion?
No, he is a Deadzone specific model. So
Okay. Oh, I'm thinking of the Goliath.
Yeah, no,
right?
Goliath. Yeah, he's in
Yeah,
he's
okay.
in Star Saga expansion, but
I will get them. Just somebody was actually King's War tournament I just went to. Somebody was using them as their was using all of these nameless models as their Trident rounds.
nice.
They,
Yeah,
they were going for a complete
I
board.
think Mike Carter had one at Adepticon that
Yeah,
had.
that was him.
Oh yeah,
It was
Mike
his
Carter.
son. Yeah, and he was it was Cthulhu themed. It was cool, but yeah, it was I got to see those models, and they are. How do you people get them in the cubes? Sweet Jesus.
You really basically don't. There was a debate when they were first coming out with it if they should even try to put the Goliath in the nameless list because they're like he's almost the same size as a cube, and then we're like, yeah, but he's cool, so we got to put
Yeah,
him in the
you'll
game.
figure it out. Right.
So yeah, he's in the
It'll be the
game.
first model.
He's
It'll
five
be the
victory
first model
points.
I've seen. It'll be the first model I've seen that needs a proxy base. Be like I'm gonna do my proxy base. Oh, look at that Yorkshire tea.
Ooh,
Have your brew. And
Yorkshire
be like
from Yorkshire.
Yorkshire, Yorkshire tea. Yeah, that stuff makes really good sweet tea, by the way.
You're gonna bastardize his Yorkshire tea.
I have it. It makes good sweet tea.
I mean, it's good tea. I had my packet that Nick Williams gave me. It's good stuff. Anywho, I think that does it. Unless you have anything in your notes that I'm missing, I think that's it.
No, I didn't see anything really in the items. Nothing. Just noticed. Oh, like overall, out of the three we're viewing, I think the Nameless probably got the best. There's a lot of synergy there. Now they've got cheaper shards, and they've got like their cheaper ogres. I really think they added some stuff. Out of the three we're talking about, I think overall they probably did the best.
I think they got the biggest boost for sure. Especially, I like that the gunslinger switch up. I think that's going to change the way that army plays massively. Because like before, you basically had to build a punchy list that only had lots of punchy stuff. But now you have
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of option where you can actually have a little shooting. So thumbs up to the nameless. Big thumbs up.
Woo!
Now I need to paint. The plague.
The plugooey.
The plagooey. Um, these guys saw probably the least amount of change, and they probably needed the least amount of change. Because Plague are amazing, and Outbreak did them tons of favors, so we just kind of took those and put those into Escalation. I don't see a whole lot of changes really across the board. They're still amazing, and they're still probably my favorite faction, maybe. Probably.
Yeah, they really we talked the leaders and the troops. Nothing that I saw. Even doing my homework.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is we got the specialists. We got three things added. Dr. Simmons, Subject 901, and Assy Cheeks, or however you pronounce it,
A Kisiak with a Q. I don't
or
know.
what do you call her, Kish?
Kish. Kish the
Yeah,
fish.
right. It just looks like Assy Cheeks to me. He's like Aquis, whatever.
It's
But
like
she's
it's
a
like in Kingdoms of Men, the guys with the guns with the French name, the Aquavissier.
Aquabisia.
Aquavissier. This is a Kisiak. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you
So
have to
let's break
capsulate the
it
word.
down. Yeah, so like we said, there's not a whole lot to talk about them. They got the same changes to Strider that everyone else did. They have the options for a super, smoke launchy, grenade launchy, aggressor shield,
Yep,
grav
grab
ram.
ram.
If you
The
really,
3A specialist did gain hacker.
oh yeah, that's right, that's right, and that's a good thing to have, especially with this change. I think you're gonna want to see um, a lot more hackers out there because those missions look really fun, and having a hacker makes them significantly better. So let's talk about
Yeah.
Kish the Fish first. So she is a living legend, as are the next people we're all going to talk about. Um, she is a beat stick, man. Holy crap. So she's 20 points, which is totally reasonable, and 2 victory points, which is totally reasonable. She moves at a 2-3, so she's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
she's
running,
getting down
man.
the pipeline quick.
She's running, and she fights on a 3-up. She doesn't have any shooting. So she fights on a 3-up with a 5-up save, which is whatever.
Hmm.
And for that, you also have Tough in Rampage because She's pissed.
That's plague. That's what they do.
Yeah, and Frenzy, but she has AP2 knockback on a 3-up fight with Frenzy.
Peacekeepers are sad.
Yeah, man. Kish the fish. Legit.
Be kissing some ass. Like,
So yeah, she does not play around. She's pissed off and she's gonna show it.
um, Subject 901, we already talked about. Just rewind the video a little bit.
Yeah.
Same, just go back and watch that part again.
Same,
But
same
yeah,
dude,
same deal.
different book, same dude,
Different faction.
different
Yeah,
faction.
same dude. At Mazon Labs, 24 points, 3 VPs. He runs up, punches you real hard, and you're gonna try to punch him and be sad because he doesn't care. Now the one the plague does get, and I'll let Tyler take, but it's Dr. Simmons. That's your medic.
Yeah, so Dr. Simmons had a really terrible model before, but now has a really legit model that I want. And she is from Nexus Psi. She has an elite list in that book, but anyways, she is a support unit, which is rare for the plague because they kind of just do their own thing. But she's a little different. So she moves 1 to 2. Um, she shoots on a 6. Who cares? She fights on a 5. Whatever. She saves on a 3. So she's really difficult to deal with, especially because she has tough as well. So she has a 3-up save with tough, and that is nothing to mess with. But where she really shines is that she's a tactician. So if your leader dies, you're still going to get a tactician dice, which is nice. And the big thing here is that she is a medic. And as we've talked about before, medics are legit, and giving a bunch of plague dudes resilient and being able to heal stuff is really, really good. Especially
Yeah,
when
especially
that's especially when your guys are
yeah.
rampaging, you can prevent them from rampaging if you can heal them back.
Right, especially in stupid plague with your like you're gonna want to shoot her in her face, but save of 3 and tough, you're just no.
And especially when you're playing against plague, there's like 1,000 other things that really need to get shot. So
Like,
if you
and
want
here's
to
my
spend your
problem.
if you want to spend your time shooting at her with her 3-up and tough, go ahead. But I don't know, she's pretty legit.
Like I'm looking at Outbreak book right now, and just because in none of these models do I want to see in the same cube with her. Like, oh, let me jump up and punch your stage 1A Lord. Oh, I'm sorry, because he's size 3, she can sit in a cube with him. Oh, now now he's tough, and he also, he's armor 2, and oh yeah, he has resilient. Like, ugh.
And also, I
Or
mean,
oh, hey,
even the size 4 guys, even the aberration, she can
yeah,
stand a cube next to him and help him out.
right. Or she can be chilling in here with a plague swarm, or she can hang out with her buddy, the plague Teraton, or maybe even the stage 2B burster. Maybe she doesn't want him to explode yet, and she's like, no, be healed, my child. Like, ugh, bleh,
I think
bleh,
I think
bleh.
that right there is the single biggest switch up to the list because, like we said, basically everything's the same. Everything's still as it was in Outbreak and legit. But I don't know, man. When you start throwing a medic into the field and a medic that actually survives into the field, you got stuff to worry about that you didn't think you'd have to worry about.
Yeah, and now you're gonna have stupid Strider run around with a grav ram, just like, oh, frag, have fun, knocking stuff down. Just if Plague made you want to throw your dice against the wall, well, by God, they're gonna keep that up.
Well, no, you're gonna do damage to them, and then they're gonna heal it back, and you're gonna be like,
Right.
"What?"
Well, more mortars. I need more mortars.
All the
GCPS
mortars.
GCPS should be allowed to unlock two heavy weapons for every 2 troops. Like just 6 mortars. We should have special mortars, like it burns mortars and armor-piercing mortars.
Napalm mortars.
Right. And just nukes. Like everything goes bad, just hit the reset button. It just clears all the terrain off. I'll pass that up the chain, see where that goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you got the medic thing to go through, so and you got Mammoth Strider in Kings of War, so anything's possible.
Right. Now Striders need Mammoth.
Exactly. Isn't that the name of your Strider? Mammoth?
Yes.
Mammoth the Strider. I love it. So yeah, that pretty much concludes our little sit down and chat, if you will.
Our fireside chats. You may have noticed we both have dogs barking in the background. It adds to the ambiance.
Yeah, hopefully they're not plague dogs because they can be healed now.
Yeah. Uh, uh.
Anyways, that pretty much leads us to the end of this. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and hope you pick up Escalation because it's a really good book that is going to shake up how you play Deadzone, both within the lists and the missions are they're awesome.
And I know the Michigan guys have a tournament coming up or something. They got an event going on, which I need to do my research on, do my homework on that, find out when it is. And
Yeah.
I know Coaches got one. And Coaches is like 9 hours for me, but it might be worth driving nine
Oh, you
hours to go
should.
play.
If I was 9 hours away, I would go to it. That's the
Well, how far are
Conquest
you
of
away from
Triton.
me? You can just come meet me, and then we'll just drive up there.
Oh. Okay, now you're really trying to speak my language here.
See? I don't know if New York. I mean, it's New York. I don't know if they can handle that much celebrity.
I don't know. I don't think they
Me,
can.
you, and Coach. Adepticon's big enough to handle it. I don't know if just a little hobby shop. It might explode. That's awesome.
So yeah, that pretty much concludes our little thing here. I'd like to thank Mr. Jesse Cornwell for coming on.
Sir, I am honored.
So yeah, I can't wait to get started on painting up my mercs and getting back into the sci-fi. I've been really heavily into the fantasy side of things lately, so it'll be good to kind of bring the meter back towards the future. Um, I know I think I'm most excited about the mercs in terms of lists because I think they have just a wealth of options that are all fun to play around with. And I know you said something about your electric boogaloo rats, right?
Yeah. The Volt Chasers. Oh my God. Like, okay, so because of doing this whole thing before Kings of War, and I was like, oh, I'll try rats. Why not? And I have just stupid amounts of fun with them. Just because all the chances you have to roll dice, and just I don't know, they're fun. Like GCPS, it's like, oh, he died. I don't really care. I really don't care if my rats die. I'm like, whatever. It happens.
Eh, 6 points here, 8 points
And
there.
with, and with Nightmares now being troops, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
See a
man.
Volt Chaser? I just nom, nom, nom.
But
Yeah, Enforcers.
that's for another podcast to cover, unfortunately.
I know that we could talk about it. They ain't hurting nothing. I'm not saying we're gonna cover it all because I don't remember stats offhand because I don't have the book in
I
my hand.
mean, they're armored rats that can overcharge themselves. Come on.
And they look cool. Like I got
Yeah.
to give props to Mantic on that. I know I've been a Mantic fanboy now for a couple of years, but I mean sometimes they have some ass models, and you're just like, that's
Mm,
gross. I
yeah,
hate it. They are amazing looking models.
absolutely. So that concludes it. Everyone, check out Escalation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and keep rolling eights. Go play some Dead Zone.
Oh baby.